Hello, Printing here with another video. Um, as you can see, I wanted to talk about Hasna today. Hasna is a character that I initially skipped and then got as a random off banner. You can see I don't really use her as much. I haven't taken her to rank 13. I use her a little bit on Universal Deprivation. Give her some equipment someone else has to equip, and then of course she ends up with the junk that they had. And Hasna's interesting case of character that is underappreciated, but perhaps deservedly so. Like I sometimes I'll do videos about characters that are unappreciated that I feel like deserve more credit. And the reason why I'm talking about Hasna today is because of the recent leak in the Chinese version of Hasna not only getting a second unique SP skill. She does have a unique SP skill, it just hasn't come out on the global version yet. But she's actually going to get another SP skill, which we don't really know exactly what it does. But considering her first SP skill was kind of mediocre, I doubt they released a second mediocre skill, so it might actually be game changing. Plus, she's supposed to get an SP version, and then SP Hasna will take a skill from her, and she'll get a skill from SP Hasna. So, I had a thought that maybe it'd be worth 3-starring by then. But you never can really be sure, and that's like 6 months away. And I got a lot of units to have to farm up anyway, so ultimately I decided that's not worth it right now, unless it comes out that, she really becomes amazing after those releases. But Hasna is interesting because she's the first, what you might call, role breaker. This happened in Fire Emblem Heroes, the other gacha I played, where each role had a sort of defined, and then as time went on, like for example, all the healers were part of the colorist faction, and they didn't really have any good damage dealers, and then they started releasing colorist damage dealers. That's what I mean by role breaker. Hasna is a seeker that uses magic attack. Up until she was released, magic DPS was limited to just destroyers. There were some healer watchers who were healers that could do some magic damage because they were magic users, but they didn't really have like traits and skills geared around that typically. And since Hasna came out, there was 2 other characters kind of like her. Flavia, which is a Guardian magic user, and Luvata, Breaker magic user. And while those units aren't considered meta, like the design behind them, the idea behind them is more solid than the Seeker magic users. First off is, you can't really see it here, but most Seekers start with have 5 movement, and Hasna only has 3 movement. So even though she's a Seeker, she's not any more mobile than any other role. And as a Seeker, she's effective against breakers, but you don't really need magic to take out breakers, because they tend not to have strong defenses in the first place. Like Levita, she's a breaker. She counters guardians who tend to have high physical defense but not particularly good magic defense. So she, in theory, would be effective more than your average breaker at taking out guardians. Flavia is a guardian magic user, which means she's effective against Seekers. And Seekers tend to, a lot of Seeker maps of Seekers tend to swarm your units. Like they're highly mobile. They'll come from different directions. Like if they suddenly have I recently had a map where they actually had an ambush, which is not very typical. One of the recent Pioneer maps. I might even show that. Where on the second turn, 4 Seekers appeared completely surrounding your units. And if I had Flavia, I might be able to, well, not in that map because it was a Pioneer map, so Flavia wouldn't be effective, but on a similar map, Flavia's Guardian Power AoE attacks would be pretty useful. But Hasna is a single target DPS in a role that has plenty of single target DPS, and against a role that tends not to have high magic defense or high physical defense, so it's not like you need a magic single target Seeker to really set her apart. Her main gimmick is Fragrance, which Fragrance affects the enemy stats, and a lot of her skills get bonuses for attacking enemies with Fragrance. The problem is that unlike like regular Safi, who at the beginning of her turn excuse me, will do a hangman's mark on someone like within 6 range, and then she can use her mobility to get in and trigger her trade effect, and Fragrance only triggers at the end of her turn, and even at her highest start, it's only within 5 tiles. And as a mage unit, she's not like Safi, where Safi she can move into enemy territory, use her dodge skill, and then on her next turn, hang a couple units. Like if you have to have good positioning, and at 1 star it's like 3 tiles, so you have to move within 3 tiles of someone who will then be in their threat range. Like even trying to Fragrance an archer or a Seeker, you're putting Hasna out there. Like she does have she'll take 30% less damage if they have Fragrance, but it's not great. It also counts as a aura effect. So if you have like if you had SP Safi, or not Safi, SP Inanna, and gave her the skill that reduces the enemy's attack and defense up to 15%, or 15%, like, and you wanted to put Hasna on the team, basically Hasna's Fragrance won't be doing anything for the other units, other than the crit, which of course there's also crit auras. And she does have skills that are similar to what other destroyers have. Destroyers will have a lot of debuffing skills. This one, Dark Withering, like, is literally a skill I've seen on like Abyss. And her first unique Ascension skill makes it where, like, when a unit gets Fragranced, they also get like level 2 debuffs. But there's like so many units now that do that, like Kafare, Fakal. I don't even need to go through all of them. There's a lot better, stronger units than her that will just give level 2 debuffs. So it wasn't a real big bonus to her. It also improved her damage to enemies with Fragrance, but that again requires her to figure out how to land fragrance. And the best idea that I've heard, which makes sense, though it's limited, is yeah, so after attacking, and it inflicts fragrance on the target for 2 turns, it would be strong for a instant attack, but she doesn't have any instant attacks unless you give her either the Ring of Fire or the Flying Blade Armlet. But those are limited uses, so like, you know, going into a boss, maybe you can hit them with that and apply fragrance, and that's why I took this skill, but it rarely ever felt needed. But I am interested, since I already have her, to see what she ends up getting. Don't know exactly yet, but you know, when it does get announced, we'll still have 6 months to get her to 3-star if it seems like a good idea. So, and then of course she will gain the Element faction, which means she'll benefit from Lukuma's leader aura. Well, actually, it's a trait, but it functions like a leader aura, where it gives benefits to units of her faction. She might also have a leader aura. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. But that's all I have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.